According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, we understand that India has close to 75 million dairy farms, producing nearly 150 million tons of milk per year. What brings all of this together seamlessly? To some extent, technology, of course, is that answer. Our conversation tonight, our second small giant tonight, is with Mr.Milkman, which is a SaaS platform which helps farms track analytics on a real-time basis. Take a listen to some highlights of Mr. Milkman's story.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Samarth. Your company has pivoted from 2015 to 2017, and Mr. Milkman has completely changed his business model. Why don't you tell me more about your journey?
So in 2015, when I had gone back home, I had this particular problem with the local Dudia who used to come to my house. The accounting with him, the understanding of what is being delivered and what is not, was a big issue, correct? He used to deliver about 5 liters and claim that I've delivered 6. And then month end, when he used to give us the bill, there used to be a lot of discrepancies in that. Which is where the whole concept in 2015, while I was in the final year of college, was to just give them a basic application and help them manage their accounts with their clients. Slowly and steadily we saw that a lot of local Dudias were enjoying this application. It was helping them connect with the clients also. So we evolved and allowed them to connect with the consumer base also, which helped them increase their sales. While we were doing that, we also got connected with dairy farms in Delhi NCR who wanted to get listed and get their products sold to the end consumers. But what these dairies saw was the platform that we had built for ourselves. When they saw it, I remember one of my clients asked me, "What is this that you're using?" Because currently I am using Excel and I'm not able to manage it. Which is when I told him that this is a platform, a software that we have custom developed for ourselves to manage the logistics of these local Dudias. So we did a trial with them. We said, okay, why don't you try it out for your own business and see if it helps. It did. Which is where the pivot happened, which is where the evolution and course correction happened into the SaaS platform for the dairy industry, and that's how we have evolved ever since. So in 2015, we used to charge our local Dudias on a per download basis, like how many applications they're using, and that's how we used to charge. When we evolved into the dairy sector, we understood that they are growing significantly. They are growing, and so our infrastructure needs to grow accordingly. Our technological infrastructure needs to be stable, it needs to be scalable, and it can sustain the orders that these dairies are generating, which is where we changed our model into a per transaction basis rather than a per user basis transaction. So however they are growing, so are our charges with them, which helps us scale according to them.
As a company, what do you think gives you the competitive edge, and how are you ensuring that you're different from the competition?
For a local milkman, they are uneducated in most cases. Well, in most cases they are educated now, but they understand technology very well, right? They're using Facebook, they're using Instagram, they understand where the placement of buttons is. Our application is very simple with proper color coding. They understand, okay, I have to click a red button in order to understand how much I have procured. I have to click on the green button to understand how much I have delivered, and the bills etc. will be generated automatically in the system, which is how the whole concept was started. But the dairies that are using our platform, they are well-educated people, they've hired educated and literate people, technologically savvy people who are managing their system and managing their entire operations.
Great. So dairy as an industry is largely unorganized in India. Of course, we are dealing with the perishable items. So how do you think that Mr. Milkman has made sure that you're helping these businesses and dairies not just with data, but also with in terms of how to reduce wastage?
So data plays a very important role in helping and predicting what the sales can be like, right? So now the dairies have a production that's fixed. That, for example, a dairy is producing approximately 10,000 liters on a daily basis, right? It needs to plan very well in advance how much of it is actually going into, let's say, B2C, how much of it's going into retailers, to distributors, etc., and into the market, right? So our system understands through the data over a period of time that this is how the sales have been in this particular sector, this is how the sales have been in X particular sector, and it helps them plan in advance so that they lose less. And in case there is surplus that's already there and they haven't really found any sales, there are cooperatives that buy milk from these dairies and help them save on that also.
Let's talk about reverse logistics. What does that term mean, and how are you ensuring that the dairy industry and the dairies that are on the platform are getting the most out of technology that you're providing?
In the dairy industry, what goes into the market and what comes back is as important, right? What goes into the market is milk, which is getting consumed. But the peripheral items, for example, the crates, the glass bottles in many cases, are something that goes along and has to be collected back by the dairy to help reduce losses. Otherwise, they're going to incur a lot of loss in the terms of breakage, etc. Well, breakage is something that cannot be controlled. But to understand the root cause of the breakage is something which can help them prevent it further, which is where our software comes into the picture. So we help the dairies understand, okay, how many crates went into the market, how many went to which particular segment, how many glass bottles are where, and then a reverse logistics software understands how it can be collected in the most efficient manner, reducing the transportation cost and at the same time saving the cost of the items.
Great. So how important are tie-ups in this industry? I know you've tied up with multiple dairies, but do you think that really helps turn your business into a success?
Okay, so more number of tie-ups, more data points. More data points, we can plan better, understand the industry better. So yes, the number of dairies that are increasing in our network, we started actually calling it a network. Why? Because the more dairies who are becoming a part of this network, the data points are increasing, which is helping us analyze and understand the industry at a much deeper level. In terms of the production, we are able to compare one dairy to another and understand how the production is happening. We're able to compare one dairy to another in terms of the sales of a similar product and understand where one dairy is going wrong while the other is performing better, and give them a very good market understanding and an understanding of the industry, of where they are present and how they can improve themselves to become better.
Have you raised funds, and also are you planning to raise more funds in this sector?
Yes, so we raised in 2016. If you've heard of All Out Mosquito Repellent, the founders of All Out, Mr. Anil Arya and Mr. Bimal Arya, had put in a seed amount into our company, and now we are in talks with a couple of VCs and large HNIs who are planning to invest further into our company.
Have you realized that this industry in the future has a lot of growth prospects, and also do you think that all these stakeholders can help you grow as a startup in the sector?
So the fact that this industry is highly unorganized actually adds value, adds the potential of it becoming organized, which is where we or other industries are coming in, right? Which is why a lot of investors are putting in money into this industry, because they see the potential that this can grow. So yes, I think more and more people, more and more businesses, well-educated families are venturing into the dairy industry because they understand that the demand is growing and somebody has to supply. In a lot of cases, small-scale farmers are actually planning not to venture into this any further. Their sons, their daughters are planning to become business, which is why a lot of businesses are setting up farms of about 40 acres, 100 acres, buying about 200, 300 cows, investing heavily into automation and getting into this business.
What are your future plans?
In future, we plan to digitize every aspect, right? Currently, we are digitizing the sales aspect, a bit of logistics aspect of the industry. We want to venture into the farm aspect as well. We want a single platform capturing data right from production to end consumption. And once we have that data, we will be better able to understand what's happening at a farm level, at logistics level, at sales level, and give them better insights. That is how we see ourselves in the future, digitizing and building a network of dairies that are working with us together.
Great. Perfect. Lovely talking to you, Samarth. Thank you so
great.
much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, that was our show tonight. Just as we're ending though, I want to talk about the fact that this year we're very excited to bring you an in-depth fact capsule in association with our knowledge partner ODUP, the most trusted platform that analyzes startups, their trends, as well as future evaluation. Now this weekly capsule will bring you the most incisive information on everything that you need to know about which all the hottest startups are. This week, we're putting the focus as far as the sector snapshot is concerned, bringing you an in-depth look into the e-commerce space here in Mumbai. Take a look.